combo, you know, they're knock-in after something like a Rell goes in with the WR, and then the Gragas can ulti back into the rest of the team. You have the Hecarim here to follow up on that, so pretty powerful combo here. But it does mean that they are, you know, blind picking their top laner here, and Ssumday will be able to answer with the Aatrox. So we'll see how that's going to match up. Doesn't feel like it's any sort of a dominant matchup to me. I think that Gragas can actually withstand a lot of these melee matchups very comfortably. I've been seeing even Ssumday himself, you know, playing this quite a bit in solo queue, and people like to just put a couple points in W early, and you know, you have so much sustain just by using the W on cooldown with your passive that it's very difficult to actually push Gragas out of lane and really get a significant edge.
Well, going into the second half of the draft here, neither team has a mid laner picked up so far. So we will probably see some mid lane bans as 100 Thieves start off that second part of the ban phase by removing Orianna. You mentioned a couple of games ago how Orianna, Syndra, Azir are kind of that little selection that you have there of staple mid laners with the current state of the game. So with Syndra and Azir both still available, we'll see if they want to target those. But Immortals will remove Set from the pool now.
Interesting, yeah. Set going to be taken away there. That is something that both Damonte and Huhi play, so it's kind of a bit of a double ban. But most teams have just been banning the global champions against Damonte. I think that the Orianna ban is good, but it's also like extra valuable because it's mostly all Insanity has been playing. You know, he has 5 Orianna games. His next most played is 1 game, and that's a couple of different champions. Tristana being one of those that he did actually show last week. So, you know, going to be double targeting Insanity here. They could ban out something like the TF or the Galio if they wanted, but they're going to go for another support ban with the Alistar. So a lot of concern about who he might play. A lot of respect being given towards him.
And 100 Thieves hovering over this Twisted Fate. We know how well Damonte works when he's on these champions that enable his teammates. When he can go to the side lanes as a Galio or a Twisted Fate, help out bottom, help out top, just get the rest of the squad rolling. And that's what he'll be doing this time around as well, with the TF locked in. That also means that the last pick of the draft for 100 Thieves will be their support there in the bottom lane to try to get an advantageous matchup. So let's see how Immortals want to finish things off. Ooh, the Draven locked in.
Okay. Very, very aggressive stuff here. So it's going to be about bot lane. I care less that they're picking Azir now, you know, against that TF, because that doesn't feel very inspiring, you know, given that Damonte actually has a 100% win rate on TF. I was thinking, okay, they're going to be having some sort of prepared pick to counter mid lane. Instead, it is going to be about the bot lane. Raes bringing out the Draven. And this is going to be pretty exciting. You will be able to bully something like Kaisa very, very heavily. That being said, Nautilus has great gank assist, and you have jungle priority with the Olaf. You also want to be playing aggro as Draven, but there's a TF on the team. And 100 Thieves is known for going down towards bot lane. So Immortals are going to have to be able to match that. You've got to keep track of where Damonte is, and Xerxe has got to be in position to counter gank if the Olaf is showing up, or at the very least, you know, be able to make something happen on the other side of the map, because 100 Thieves like to go for these bot lane dives, these bot lane plays constantly. They have drafted to do so, and Immortals win condition really does feel like it is dominating bot lane, because when you go for Draven, you've got to be stacking up the passive, you've got to be cashing in and snowballing the game, because the champion needs to play from ahead. It is very difficult for Draven to play from an even game state when you are not up in gold, because you're relatively short on range. There's lots of CC on the other team, and I just expect him to get locked down and burst down if he's not playing with a big advantage.
And I'm glad you bring up the passive, because that's one of the things that I'm specifically going to pay attention to during this game. Does he get a cash in before his first death? Because that's one of the biggest heartbreaks for the Draven player. You're down there farming. Maybe you spend 10 minutes stacking up those adoration stacks over and over and over again, only to find yourself dying to a 4-man gank play bottom, and all of a sudden most of them go in the trash.
Yeah, that is always so painful, which makes it even more important to play towards that side. You know, it feels like it's going to draw a lot of the attention down there from Immortals, because Draven from behind is just really, really sad to see.
He doesn't do much.
Raes has played some Draven games. All time he has a 4 in his career, so not a huge amount by any means, but there's actually a lot of pro players out there who have 0 Draven games played professionally, so at the very least he is comfortable bringing it out on stage. Does have a 50% win rate there. It is going to be the Hail of Blades Draven, and I'm going to be interested to see what tech he actually brings alongside that. You know, if it is going to be something a little bit more defensive, or if he's going to bring out the lethality Draven, because I have seen, you know, a fair bit of that, but I think, you know, Shield Bow is still the most popular by quite a bit.
Yeah, checking out where everybody else is across the table here. Summoner spells are about what you would expect. Insanity going for the Electrocute here on the Azir. So that's now 3 Azir games that we've commentated, Isaac, with 3 different keystones on this champion. So plenty of diversity in how the champion is being used in these different matchups. And the only other thing I want to point out is that Revenge is going for the grasp on the Gragas top, which generally indicates this will not be an AP Gragas, but instead just the big tanky boy there on the front line.
And I think he should be pretty safe to do this when you have physical damage from the jungle, physical damage from the top laner. Yes, you do have to worry about TF a bit, but TF does not really demand that you build magic resist. As long as you have health and armor, you should be pretty comfortable. So, you know, if I'm Revenge, I'd want to go tank here. I'd want to rush Bramble Tabbies pretty early. That's going to keep you very comfortable against Ssumday and Closer. And then you just get some HP in there. That should probably keep you safe against Damonte.
Ooh, Huhi immediately going in here. Level 1 in the bottom side. Not afraid of skirmishing with the Draven early on.
Yeah, nice little hook. I mean, if you can land that, you proc the Aftershock, and the follow-up is going to be good, right? They already got out his potion, and that's the big thing. When you look at just the health bars, it doesn't feel like that's that big of a one trade. But the fact that FBI has biscuits and they got that potion off of Raes already does mean, you know, 1 or 2 more bad trades from him, and he's going to be pretty much, you know, on the back foot, just as far as the less sustain that he has compared to his opponents.
Up here on the top side, Ssumday takes control over the lane nice and early, but Revenge still just going to be farming up. I mean, there's not a whole lot that he's going to try to do to control this wave or contest anything. He's up against Ssumday, who is on a powerful laner in the Aatrox, so these guys will just trade farm back and forth a little bit. The thing that I'm looking at is both junglers are currently clearing their second buffs. Of course, Closer clears that one first just because Olaf has incredible clear speed early on. And we might see these guys end up in the same point of the map here if they decide to make a play either for that top side scuttle or that top lane.
Yeah, I think for Xerxe, you just really want to avoid fighting Olaf at all. You know, maybe post 6, you're willing to look for some sort of play where you're trying to burst someone down, but you've got to be so careful. This is just an awkward spot, though, with the wave pushing out. They have spotted Closer. They are going to move up the Azir, so that is going to be the difference maker here. Damonte was getting pushed in and bullied out quite a bit, but Ssumday is moving down now, and this could be potential 3v2.
100 Thieves going in for the 2v3, putting themselves in a bad spot, having to flash away to keep Closer alive with the barrels going forward, and Ssumday finding the Q3, but he's still about to die. The burn keeps burning, but Ssumday stays alive.
I cannot believe they didn't actually get any of those kills. They're so incredibly low. Insanity even had his flash. I'm surprised that they actually let them base. He doesn't want to go for the risky play, though. And now, TP down to bot lane.
It's Damonte doing what Damonte does, coming down here for the gold card, trying to help out the bottom lane, but Raes with the flash gets away in time.
Man, I just want to point out how fast that was. As soon as Insanity started channeling his TP to get back to mid lane, instant TP bot. You know the response is not there now. Ssumday was up on top of Revenge, so Revenge can't TP with no mana in the face of Ssumday, and Azir cannot answer. So they knew at worst it's going to be an even man play if somehow, you know, Xerxe had run straight down to bottom lane, but even that was unlikely because he had showed top. So this was just a really smart play, you know, from 100 Thieves. Yes, it is just the trade of the TP for the flash, but again, Draven is playing this lane to dominate, not to go even, and now Huhi could potentially just flash on him, root him here for the Olaf.
Okay, Closer has approached here. Nice engage onto Destiny, looking to put the damage onto Rell. First blood over to 100 Thieves, looking to make it 2. Raes gets away, but with Rell reduced to pieces, it's 100 Thieves. Happy with how that one went.
Yeah, they pulled Rell right out of the air there on the W dismount. Just nicely timed hook, it looked like there from Huhi to be able to deny that. Not only do they get the kill, they're going to deny all of that farm here. And the Draven is down way in farm at this point already. You know, Destiny had to block the hook here for his Draven. Knew that Raes does not have flash. Raes trying to get the turn damage down, but Closer is here much earlier than Xerxe. And with their support already dead, there's no chance of continuing that fight. So the snowball has already begun down in that bot lane, but it's going the wrong way for Immortals. As they lost out on the play there, they lose out on the Dragon. The buy is much better for FBI, and it feels like already you're concerned if this Draven's going to do anything this game.
And you can see Xerxe, at least he has a little bit of a farm advantage compared to his opponent, but that's also because Closer still has his whole jungle to clear through here. So clearing up from the Gromp to the Wolves, Xerxe doing a good job at least denying the Raptor camp there. But Closer on this Olaf, going back to champion, selecting that crazy, never mind, we got a crazy engage coming out here in mid lane as Insanity goes in after Damonte. He will use the heal from Summoner Spellbook, keeping himself safe as Huhi shows up just to guarantee it.
Yeah, that is just a great roam from Huhi. And you see the deep ward in the mid lane right there, that blue ward that the minions are on now. That actually spotted Huhi, and that's why Insanity did not continue the trade. You know, if that support is not there, maybe you actually go for that. And Revenge, poorly timed body slam, did get yanked back by the chain, but you can see every time he uses that passive, it is so much healing. He is actually going Q-Max here. I have seen people in solo queue in this matchup go a couple more points in W, but the W costs so little mana, and the passive is such a low cooldown that as long as you're going for something like a tier, it's really very hard to ever push Gragas out. You just spam your W on cooldown. Exactly, and you're just going to regen right back up.
Yeah, you can see his health bar nearly back up to full after that Ssumday trade had taken him down to 25%. So the big man in top lane feeling perfectly comfortable with how this one is going. Back in the bottom side, though, Raes on the Draven, 41 to 57. In terms of farm. Now, that's not as severe as it sounds originally because there is quite a large wave piling up here. But if 100 Thieves try to make a play, Damonte has his ult, and he's heading through the enemy jungle. If they kill Raes, when this big minion wave collides with the turret, it's about to be a nightmare here for them. As Damonte finds Xerxe there at his red buff, Xerxe will secure that one and take that as Damonte heads back towards mid. And 100 Thieves, now that they know Immortals is aware that Damonte was looking to roam, they'll call off that play.
Yeah, that is nicely done by them. I think it's pretty foolish play to go for, knowing that Xerxe is around. So instead, they just back it up. They'll continue to wait for their moment here. They don't want to overforce, because if you try to go for that dive and Hecarim just ult fears you under the tower, it is going to go incredibly bad. So Raes will be protected, can pick up pretty much all this farm, but he still is going to be down 15 plus CS as the Draven. And this is not the position that they wanted to be in. I really worry for what his team fighting is going to look like with Olaf just barreling down on you, Aatrox, point-and-click ultimate coming through from Huhi, the gold card, point-and-click stun there as well from Damonte. It feels like Immortals will have to be the ones engaging for him to have a successful fight, right? Like, you have to be creating space for him by diving into your opponent's backline and making them use those abilities for peel. Because if Immortals are getting engaged on, I just don't see how Raes really plays the fight.
Well, at least Insanity has the ability to create terrain with the Soldier Wall, since terrain is the one kind of CC that Olaf can't be immune to. But if that's the only thing you're counting on and the rest of the squad has abilities to bypass that, Immortals truly do have their work cut out for them. Insanity will rotate over to take this second blue buff as Xerxe hands that one off, but blue buff's not really the big story here, as 100 Thieves will secure themselves the first Rift Herald of the game 9 minutes in. Since the eyeball lasts for 4 minutes, that means as long as they use it at some point, any point during that duration, they're getting plate money for it.
Yep, and it didn't cost them much, right? They didn't move their mid laner up. They didn't move their bot lane up here. Nice ulti from Revenge.
Very good stuff, putting Ssumday in the wrong place and getting Immortals on the board.
That was a great ult, and I think Ssumday just knew he was dead as soon as that actually hit him. He sees Xerxe coming up, and he doesn't even use the flash there, so really nice stuff. It looks like Closer's actually freezing the wave for him, which may force him to try to stay around, but no, he's actually instead just going to push it out. So they want to move down towards this dragon. He's probably going to push that out and then go there, but another play here potentially.
Another good ulti from an Immortals solo laner going in after Damonte with a follow-up CC from Destiny, and Insanity takes the money on that one. IMT are striking back.
Great play there down in the bot lane. We'll see if Raes can stay safe as he is solo right now, but a good roam there from Destiny. Didn't actually connect with that E-stun, I don't believe, but with Damonte flashing away, he could follow up here. And this is just really nicely set up here by Revenge. He's able to get traded on, drops the ulti straight into the knockback there from Ssumday, and with that, he was so far away from the Olaf. Even if you flash there, Xerxe likely would still have the ultimate to actually chase you down, so not really worth using the summoner. And then mid lane, another good play here from Immortals. Insanity, he is so far away. You know, it's hard to even blame Damonte for that. Feels like he has a lot of distance. The flash E does miss there from Destiny, but he still has the W to follow after Damonte tries to flash away. And they're able to establish what is a pretty solid lead now for the Azir. He's already up a little bit of farm and now gets that kill, so Immortals fighting back.
And as Immortals are leading in terms of kills, the total gold comes up on your screen, and you still see 100 Thieves topping those charts. It's FBI and Closer. Well, Closer and Insanity pretty much the exact same amount, about 12 or 13 gold separating them there. But FBI is the richest man on the map, and considering he's the one that had to lane against that typical early game powerhouse, that lane-dominant champion in the Draven, I'd say bottom side is going great for 100 Thieves.
It is, and this is looking like an Essence Reaver from Raes, so that's pretty interesting to see him going towards that. Of course, it could just be random call fields plus the Sheen for something else, but very likely will be that Essence Reaver, and that is going to allow him to pretty much spam axes, spam W, essentially infinitely. You never really do have to worry about mana as long as you have some sort of mana regen there on the Draven, but all of that tower gold going into the pockets of FBI. They're taking the second dragon here. So 100 Thieves continues to march forward, now 2,000 plus gold ahead. And the fact that they have both these dragons does put pressure on Immortals to fight them at that next dragon. I really think it's incredibly risky to give up 3 straight, because then you're just depending on never making a mistake for the rest of the game. It's so easy to get picked off one time and then lose access to that soul. So I think we're going to have to see Immortals fight for that next dragon, and that may be where a lot of the game is decided.
Well, they still have plenty of time until then, at least. 4.5 minutes is a good long while here in League of Legends. And back up in the top lane, Ssumday and Revenge both just continue farming up, although that farm is definitely favoring Ssumday. Yes, he got caught off guard. Yes, Revenge had a really nice ulti to guarantee his death just a couple minutes ago, but it's Ssumday who's currently 30 CS ahead up here, just casually and coolly building that economy up.
And that is one thing that can be difficult with Gragas, is you have all this AoE, right, which is great, but when you're put in these positions where he was often standing back from the wave and you're trying to last hit with these AoE abilities, you often end up having the wave push away from you, right? You're accidentally getting it pushing towards your opponent. And because Ssumday was playing from a position of power and Closer was often up there, they have the losing 2v2. That means Revenge had to play a little bit further back, and with those AoE abilities coming out, you often just end up kind of freezing that wave away from yourself and missing CS due to getting those minions too low. So Revenge is a bit behind there. FBI going to be able to steal away the enemy red buff, which is quite nice, and it looks like just kind of moving up towards top lane to potentially match that role, sort of lane swap that Raes and Destiny going for.
Divine Sunderer completed for Xerxe here on the Hecarim, ready to make sure he has some of those big damage potentials here when he dives into everybody at the same time, as Huhi and FBI rotate into the top side with the bottom lane turret already taken care of. 100 Thieves wants to continue pushing these objectives over the rest of the map. Raes and Destiny are already here to try to answer them, but again, Gale Force already completed for the Kaisa. FBI is very strong at this point in time, and IMT must be very respectful of just what 100 Thieves are capable of.
Yep, you've got that Mythic. You've gotten your lethality item as well. So you have that evolved Q, and they're going for an engage, but I don't know if he's the target.
Jumping in. He's trying to go for the Magnet Storm, but he's already dead. The Rell overestimating his tankiness as Revenge TPs in and then immediately body slams over to the other side of the wall. That's a free pickup there for 100 Thieves.
I mean, I get that engage if that's Damonte or FBI, but that's Huhi. That's the Nautilus. Even if you kill him there, there's going to be follow-up from the rest of the team. And Huhi is moving up here, but Closer is coming over. TF has ultimate, so he just straight up flashes over to hard engage in on him. Olaf pops the ultimate and just instantly kills him. Then TF is going to be joining in, and they have to go on the full retreat. It also costs a teleport there from Revenge. So Ssumday gets to just push out that bottom lane for free and even take away some of the jungle. So bad going to worse here for Immortals, as Destiny has just not been on point with these engages. And when you're falling this far behind, you get squishier and squishier. He's even going with Lucidity to have the extra playmaking potential there, but he won't have his flash for that dragon fight. And I don't even know if they're going to want to contest for it at this point, as they are falling pretty far behind.
So now that we are only 90 seconds away from that next Drake spawning, and now that the gold lead does continue to just bleed away from Immortals, how do you stop the bleeding? Isaac, what is the magical bandage that keeps this game at a winnable point for Immortals?
I mean, it's tough, right? I think that they need to try to get some sort of cash in for Draven, and that's going to require some pretty good coordination. 100 Thieves is playing around their globals better right now. They have the TP advantage, so you can't really go for a play right now unless it's attacking that player that does have the global advantage. But you have to think it needs to be some sort of an engage, right? You have playmaking on your team. You have the ability to split up a team fight with Gragas, to find and engage on the back line there with Hecarim. So you're looking for a high-value engage. You're looking to burst someone out right off the bat, get that cash in for Draven, and things can start looking a lot better for you. But it cannot be engages like we just saw from Destiny. It's just the lowest value target, and the risk reward was not there.
Ooh, very fast flash from Damonte, getting away from the Hecarim engage in time and staying alive.
That was really impressive. That was not a lot of time to actually react there. Hecarim coming from the brush, out of vision there. Instant flash came through for Damonte, and he's got his playmaking tools online here. He has the stopwatch. He also has that rocket belt, so he can go pretty aggressive with this. They're just going to drop the Herald here, get mid priority, and then go over towards the Dragon with this. So tower will be going down, and we'll see them move up towards the Dragon very likely after this second charge, but Immortals not really in a position to fight this whatsoever.
100 Thieves are just going straight on in, using the Nautilus ulti onto Insanity, keeping him far enough away to guarantee they're able to take down the tier 2 turret here. Ragnarok already used by the Olaf, forcing out another flash. Gale Force used by FBI. 100 Thieves disengaging this one. Yes, their jungler's down to half HP. Raes is up here on the top side, taking down the tier 1 turret. Immortals have just conceded the Drake. They realize they don't have the ulti on their jungler. They tried to use it to kill Damonte earlier, and without that, they don't have a team fighting chance here. So that is 3 Drakes to nothing, plus the tier 2 turret in the mid lane for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, I mean, they get Dragon, they get two turrets in mid lane, right? They got the tier 2, but the tier 1 was up there before as well. So yes, you get some gold on your Draven, that's great, but you got to even be careful now because TF is out on the map here and Draven is still actually sticking around. If you stay around too long, Damonte could pop the ulti to see if he's by himself, but it looks like it's just assuming that people are behind the Draven. It's just even more eggs in the Draven basket because the total gold lead went more in the favor of 100 Thieves. The total game state definitely went way more in the favor of 100 Thieves there as they are now at soul point. So now you just absolutely must get a cash in on Raes or you can pretty much FF this game because I don't think there's any other chance of coming back unless you have a huge fight for the Draven because they're one away from now getting soul on a lot of champions that love the move speed too here. There's high value both on the ultimate reduction. The 10% flat move speed I think is something that is overlooked so frequently with Cloud Soul. Everyone talks about the injection of movement speed when you pop your ulti, but flat movement speed on Olaf, on Aatrox, even on Nautilus and TF to be able to actually catch up to people and engage is huge. And for Olaf and Aatrox to have that on your ulti, the cloud speed burst is just
it's so scary. It's so scary. For Ragnarok and World Ender, those ultimates that you're generally just pressing the button and running at them anyway, Cloud Soul makes that just absolutely devastating. And Immortals have 3.5 minutes to get things together and shore up enough of a position to fight from a 4,500 gold deficit for that Cloud Soul. Otherwise, 100 Thieves are taking it. And right now, 100 Thieves are taking the top lane tier 1 turret. That will be their 4th turret of the game as they stack objective on objective.
My concern is just that Immortals are playing it so passively that it won't just be that gold lead. The gold lead is extending, right? And if you're willing to just give up your jungle time and time again, by the time that final fight comes, you're just not in a position to win.
Fight's already starting out. 100 Thieves in a bad spot here, taking some damage. Damonte staying alive here with a stasis, but closes behind enemy lines, going after Raes, looking for a little bit more damage onto that one with the axes coming through and the shutdown happening onto FBI. 100 Thieves already lost both their carries. Immortals looking to fight back here. Immortals able to take the fight. Double kill for the mid laner so far. They're going to kite Ssumday around. It's a double kill for him, but the boy's going down. Huhi's the last man standing. 3 alive on Immortals, and they will take that team fight.
That is huge for Immortals. Finally, they make a stand in their jungle there. 4 for 2 for Immortals, picking up a lot of kills for the squad. Unfortunately for them, Draven did not actually get any of those kills. The initial engage over onto Xerxe looked like it could be good for 100 Thieves, but this time Destiny is there with the counter engage. That is the kind of engage you want from your Rell, finding multiple members there, snapping them together with the WR, and then despite Ssumday just running through the team, he cannot actually get over towards Insanity. Insanity playing that smart, playing playing that safe, keeping range, and getting so much damage down during that fight. He got a huge injection of gold and is now 3-0 on the Azir. You can see how much damage he got out in that fight with his positioning. A lot of the onus is going to be on him to carry. They are still down, though, 4,000 gold, a minute 45 before that soul point.
Man, oh man, Immortals at least trying to keep this one close enough as we approach the Dragon Soul. 90 seconds. They got to make sure nobody gets caught out. Nobody has to expend an ulti or something super important.
Uh-oh.
And as the words leave my mouth, it's Revenge finding himself in the middle of a 1v3. A teleport's coming in, looking to keep the top laner alive, but Ssumday and FBI already have his number. He's gone. And with the teleport used from Insanity there, that's another big resource spent to try to save him.
Yeah, they trade teleports with Damonte, I believe, but he does still have his ulti, and I'm not even sure he actually used his teleport, if that was just spellbook swapping over, but I agree, it's going to be tough because 100 Thieves are happy to play the map. You know, one of the toughest things about being down 3 dragons to 0 is that 100 Thieves have the ability to just say, we don't even care about the dragon, and they lose hardly anything. Right?
Right.
You know,
5%
you're like,
ulti
all right,
CD.
we're ready to go. Okay, we're here for the 5v5. Everyone shows up for 100 Thieves. Well, they're not even there, right? You know, Immortals is at that dragon. 100 Thieves can be in the side lane, just taking down towers, extending their gold lead, because they have the ability to just play for the future dragons, whereas Immortals must fight no matter what the game state is and no matter what their situation is with items and cooldowns. They've got to be there to contest the soul.
All right, Immortals, you got 20 seconds to be in a good spot to contest this one. Let's see if they can do it. They won a team fight in that topside jungle, but that was kind of the one shining moment for this squad over the course of the game. They're still down just about 4,000 gold. 100 Thieves looking for the opportunity to grab some damage here as they do have priority over the river. Lots of control wards being placed down in these brushes. Immortals having the 2-for-1 deal on that one, as one of those control wards will pop as they place one anew. And trying to continue marching up here with Ssumday on the flank. 100 Thieves may decide to go after this, and here they go. Revenge on the front line. TF ulti already used. Ssumday coming in. Destiny's your target. Nice 4-man ulti coming out. 100 Thieves in a bad spot. Ssumday still trying to fight here in the back line with FBI grabbing the kill on Destiny. Revenge walking away, but FBI's down very low. Xerxe still looking for the chance to chase after the low HP members here on 100 Thieves. He charges in with the devastating charge onto Huhi, who gets over the wall with a blast cone. A nice shuffle comes in to shut down Ssumday, and Closer and Damonte are running for their lives. Damonte has no mana left. Closer's going to throw out a couple of axes. FBI still running away back towards his own jungle. He's got Huhi next to him. Closer's going to stand here and try to fight. He uses the Gore Drinker, but say goodnight. Xerxe's got the killing spree, and Immortals are fighting back.
Back-to-back fights, Destiny coming up huge for Immortals, and finally they get a kill there on Raes. We can watch this one more time. Damonte over on the side fighting Xerxe. Everyone from 100 Thieves funneling through, stacking up, and then Destiny catching them all. FBI does kite back and finish him off, but Xerxe had gotten a lot of damage down onto Damonte. He was in retreat. Closer was low. FBI was low. Everyone in 100 Thieves had to back out of there. Insanity still had the ultimate, and he found the angle to get the shutdown into the pocket of Raes, and now we go back to live as Immortals have started up the Baron, but they're looking for the turn.
100 Thieves coming in, trying to stop him here. Xerxe down to half HP. Revenge singing the same song. 100 Thieves do not have their jungler here yet, so they do not want to fully commit to a 4v5 fight. Xerxe's sticking around trying to steal some chickens, and that's not going to be anything worth fighting over. Barrel goes through to slow Ssumday down, but he continues dashing forward, looking for a chance to grab these guys on the back end of the fight. TF ulti shows up just to see if anyone is in a vulnerable position, and the answer is Raes. FBI's coming in with the killer instinct, and it's no longer the League of Draven. Revenge body slams into the wall, and now he's caught out and shut down. Double kill over to FBI. Oh, and the Emperor's Divide misses everybody. Insanity's being chased down by the Nautilus ulti, and with Immortals only having 3 men left on the map, it's 100 Thieves going after Baron.
They're going to get this, no problem. Draven was split from the rest of the team. Damonte finds him, and as soon as the gold card lands, FBI has the killer instinct straight in on top of the Draven. And when you're isolated like that, the isolated Q damage from the Kaisa is going to be so damn high. It's an easy pick off there for 100 Thieves. They grab the Baron for themselves. They are still at soul point, 5,000 plus gold. Let's see it one more time as Draven here trying to run off to the rest of the team had that good knockaway, but as soon as that plasma is applied, there's no chance of you getting out. Immortals was just way too split, did not track the TF ulti there, and one mistake like that is so punishing. Insanity trying to make something happen, trying to get it back, but wasn't in range to actually catch Damonte with the scoop in, who had that spellbook heal to give him the move speed to get it out of there.
100 Thieves now once again in a good spot. This game is being tossed back and forth like hot potato, Isaac. 100 Thieves have the lead. Immortals has a good fight. Oh, but 100 Thieves has the lead. Oh, but Immortals has a good fight. Oh, but 100 Thieves has the lead. And now we're back in that spot here yet again, and Immortals will need another good fight. But the difference is everybody on 100 Thieves now wearing purple means they're stronger than ever. Drake's not going to spawn for another 2 minutes, so fortunately for Immortals, Baron will wear out by then. But it's 100 Thieves who get to essentially use this Red Bull Baron buff for the entire duration, keep Immortals stuck on the back foot, and then they'll have priority over that pit yet again.
Yep, exactly. And they're going to be pushing Baron minions in all 3 waves. You can see Ssumday down to the bot lane. They have their duo lane in mid. They have Closer kind of roaming between mid and top. And Damonte just max range, giving the Baron buff to those minions up in the top lane. So they want to put pressure on all sides. They want to extend that gold advantage. Ssumday may face check here. Could be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, Ssumday finds himself in a 1v2, but with Huhi showing up, Xerxe knows he has to get away. That eyeball over his head means this could quickly turn into a 2v3, and Immortals cannot afford to lose even a single man to a pick-off right now.
I think they lost track of where TF was. I mean, TF popped the ulti, but TF was in top lane, right? So he's not actually in range to ulti over there. I don't know if they wanted to continue that fight knowing that he wasn't in range. Yes, Huhi did show up, but it looked like that was the only member nearby, and I wonder if they could have gotten a little bit more aggressive to maybe get a pick on Ssumday, but it ends up just being that trade of ultimates as Xerxe has to pop his, TF ulti is down, and so is Aatrox.
All right, Immortals, you've managed to weather the storm so far. 35 seconds remaining on the Baron buff, and they still have all 3 inhibitor turrets intact. I'm going to call this a successful defense for Immortals.
I agree. I mean, they are not really giving up too much. They didn't bleed out a lot of gold, but it is a significant advantage still here. 400 Thieves. You can see the item completions are coming through. And the gold is at such a point where it's resulting in extra completions, right? You look at FBI, he's on 3 items plus luxury items. He has the stopwatch on top. Damonte now completing his Zonias. There's stopwatches in 4 inventories if you count the Zonias. And that is just such an advantage going into this fight. Getting that 1 fight item where, yes, it doesn't have extended value later into the game, but this is the fight that will likely decide the game. And having 4 stopwatches against just the 2 over on Immortals' side will be a massive advantage.
Cloud Drake has arrived. 100 Thieves, let's see what y'all got if you can secure the Cloud Soul here. Immortals stepping up, trying to deal with these guys. Damonte's going to find Xerxe off to the side here. Chases him away with the damage. Killer Instinct's coming in. They know if they kill the enemy jungler, they can't contest the objective. Xerxe with 20% HP remaining. Closer popping the Ragnarok, staying alive. Damonte going in here with the ulti, resetting his position. Immortals falling completely back. They do not want to risk this any further. Insanity decides to retreat. 100 Thieves still with full control over the pit. They start up the Drake. Xerxe still very low HP. He cannot come in and try to contest this one, and that means Drake is secured. Revenge is too close yet again. Huhi finds the initiation, and the Immortals top laner once more will be caught in the wrong spot as Destiny, Xerxe, and Raes all try to get away, and Raes is the sacrificial lamb. Ssumday takes the kill, but Closer's got the flank. Insanity throws out the ulti to buy himself a little bit of extra time, but the flash over the wall is going to put Olaf right where he wants to be. Destiny's the last man standing, and he don't even have his metal horse. He remounts only in time to be knocked right back to the ground, and 100 Thieves get the ace.
Their positioning was so good around that fight. They get the Bud Light ace. You could see Damonte was threatening the flank from the top side of that Dragon Pit, and you could see Ssumday on the bottom side. They're coming from multiple angles. They made it, so it was impossible for Immortals to walk forward, to even challenge at that Dragon. They secure the soul, they chase them down, and they are going to grab this win here. Revenge is up. He's going to look to stop them, but I think it's too little too late.
Yeah, there's no way Revenge and Raes are able to stop this one right now. There was a couple really good mid-game team fights there from Immortals, but 100 Thieves just had too much of a lead, and the Drake Soul fight seals it. They take the win here against Immortals.
They look like such a well-coordinated team. As you said, some bright spots there from Immortals when they were able to find the good engages, but overall, 100 Thieves outlaning, outplaying. They got the advantages where they needed them, and they really shut down that Draven in the early game. It felt like a lot of this draft was about the Draven for Immortals, and it was FBI and Huhi who were actually winning that 2v2 straight up. It was them who were getting the additional pressure from their mid laner. As soon as Insanity used his teleport to go back to mid lane, Damonte was going straight down to bot lane, forcing out summoners with his first TP. And that is signature 100 Thieves, pressuring their opponents, removing their win conditions from the table, and in those critical fights, positioning so damn well. There's just no way to enter to try to even steal that with Hecarim, because they already forced out your ult. TF's on one side, you have Aatrox on the other side, and you have a Nautilus in the middle. Like, how are you getting past this? There's just no chance.
You're just a horse burger with extra Nautilus sauce. And now 100 Thieves with that victory goes up to a 6-1 record, looking real good here in the first few weeks of LCS play. We're going to one last break here, but after that, we're going to hear from FBI and LaTigris in the Verizon post-game interview. Don't you go anywhere.
Introducing